Hey, Rob here for QuadriTech. Today we're taking a look at the Icon Vehicle Dynamics Rebound Pro alloy wheels. Now before we dive into this wheel, everybody knows the number of benefits you can gain by lowering your tire pressures when you're headed off the pavement. Of course, it's going to improve the overall ride and handling of your vehicle when you're off-road. By increasing your tire's contact patch with the ground, you're going to increase your overall level of traction so you can tackle those more difficult trails and obstacles. Of course, as you lower the tire pressure, you increase the chance of potentially debeating that tire from the wheel when you encounter those obstacles on the trail. Now you could look to a beadlock style wheel that clamps the outer bead of the tire to the wheel to lessen or remove the chance of debeating that tire when you're running extremely low tire pressures. But traditional beadlock wheels come with a number of drawbacks. For starters, most if not all beadlock wheels are not street legal or DOT compliant. They're really intended for off-road use only. Beadlock wheels are also heavy and expensive. Now, Icon Vehicle Dynamics designed and engineered the Rebound Pro to specifically be a 100% street legal, DOT compliant alloy wheel with features of a beadlock wheel with their interlock technology found right here behind the face of the wheel. Icon Vehicle Dynamics has rethought how a traditional beadlock wheel can function and incorporated some really awesome features into this wheel. Now before we dive into those, I did want to quickly go over the available color options we have sitting out here. Of course, we've got this great satin black finish back here. We also have their titanium finish as well as the bronze finish that I have on the table. Now the Rebound Pro is a 17 by 8.5 inch wheel. Comes in a 5-on-5 bolt pattern with 4.5 inches of back spacing, which means it's going to be perfect for running oversized tires on your Wrangler or Gladiator. Now, Icon Vehicle Dynamics has also fought to keep the weight down with the Rebound Pro, lessening the total amount of added unsprung and rotational mass that you're putting on your Wrangler or Gladiator is going to overall improve your on-road ride and handling characteristics. Now, just because they've kept this wheel lightweight does not mean that it's not strong. In fact, they added material around the location of each of these bead retention pins and even increased the overall strength of the spokes of the wheels to give the Rebound Pro a 3,200 pound load rating. Now, before we dive into the interlock technology, the first thing that you really need to understand is what makes a traditional beadlock wheel not street legal. The Department of Transportation and Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards dictate two main points to make a wheel street legal. The first being that the wheel cannot require periodic maintenance. And the second being that in the event of a failure, the tire cannot leave the wheel. Now, if you look at a traditional beadlock wheel that utilizes a series of bolts to secure a ring to the face of the wheel that clamps the outer bead of the tire in place, of course, because those bolts are running through a ring and then the rubber tire back into the wheel, they're going to be under a constant strain, a constant tension, which is going to fatigue them over time, requiring periodic maintenance to check those bolts and make sure that they've maintained their torque specification. Now, in the unlikely event that those bolts should start breaking or you encounter some other failure with that ring, well, it's going to be very easy for that tire to leave the beadlock wheel altogether, putting you and other drivers on the road around you in a potentially very dangerous situation. Now, if we look at the Rebound Pro, one of the first things that you'll notice here is that we have a more traditional one-piece wheel. The wheel incorporates both an inner and outer lip to that wheel, which is going to retain the tire in place. Because there's nothing to bolt together, there's nothing to fail for that tire to potentially leave the wheel. And because we're not bolting a ring to this wheel, there's really no periodic maintenance required. These bead retention pins that run through the face of the wheel and the barrel up behind the bead of your tire here when it's installed, because they are secured directly to the material of the wheel and torqued into place, there's no rubber in between a ring and the face of the wheel, putting strain and tension and stress on those bolts. They're not going to fatigue over time. Once you install them and torque them to their specification, it's really not going to change there, and by not requiring any periodic maintenance once you've installed your tire on the Rebound Pro. Now, these bead retention pins are crafted from a high strength hardened alloy that undergoes a thermochemically treated process to help reduce the chance of any corrosion. And they are also sealed with an O-ring, so you don't have to worry about any potential air leaks. In fact, Icon Vehicle Dynamics says that you have more of a chance of air leaking from your valve stem than you do from any of the bead retention pins. Now, if you look at the side of the wheel again, you'll notice a very traditional profile to the barrel of the wheel. We see we have both an inner and an outer bead retention area with bead retention humps that run in place there to retain that tire in place. And then the pins simply protrude up behind where the bead of your tire is going to sit, retaining it in place. Now, when you're installing a tire on the Rebound Pro, it's going to install in a pretty traditional style, so you will have to have a tire shop install your tires on the Rebound Pro. I'll start by threading each of the bead retention pins into place by hand, just enough so that we can go ahead and install the tire onto the wheel and inflate it enough to seat both the inner and outer bead of the tire into place. Once the tire is installed on the wheel, we can come back and torque all of the bead retention pins to their specified tightness and then inflate the tire to its final desired pressure. Again, once these pins are installed and torqued, you really don't have to think about them again until it comes time to replace your tires on the wheel. Now, Icon Vehicle Dynamics has put the Rebound Pro through thousands of miles of on and off-road testing and abuse, and in fact, they've even run some federal motor vehicle safety standards testing to try and debead a tire from this wheel, and after multiple attempts on the testing machine, it exceeded the mechanical limits of the testing device, which was unable to debead the tire from the wheel. Now, if you guys want to get more information or to purchase a set of Icon Vehicle Dynamics Rebound Pro alloy wheels, a 100% street legal DOT compliant alloy wheel with inner bead lock technology, you can click on that info button to head over to quadratech.com. Of course, if you have any comments or questions about the Rebound Pro, you can always leave those for me down in the comment section below or contact us directly at any of the options on the screen. And as always, if you haven't already and you like these videos, do me a huge favor. Go and hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification icon, so be sure to catch all of our latest videos. Until next time, I'm Rob. I'll see you guys out on the trail.